We're about to give you what you've been waiting for.
Fellas.
We are going to talk about marriage.
We are.
And some really, really crucial points that have worked for us in our just over 2 years of marriage.
Yeah.
I know we haven't been married that long, but hopefully we can give you guys some life advice, because honestly, me and Jordan have a pretty good marriage. And I don't know, some of you have been in bad marriages, so you kind of really appreciate the good marriage.
Yeah.
I am one of those people, so I really know what this is, like a good marriage, and like nothing and no one could like break what we got. Like, we in this for life. So yeah. Moving forward.
Yeah.
The first pointer for a healthy marriage is God.
G-O-D. That's
God.
right, man. Gotta put God first. I know that sounds cliche, but that's real. That's real life. Having God first in your relationship, having God first in who you chose, having God first in your day-to-day is very important.
And it's really important because, like, God, like the Bible literally gives us the blueprint for basically how marriage is supposed to look. It's supposed to resemble his relationship towards us. And if you keep that in mind, then there's absolutely nothing you can overcome. You got anything to say?
Praying together is really big. It can get, I mean, it's our intimacy to God. So us together praying together to God is really big.
About agreeing on the same stuff.
Yes,
because when 2 or 3 are gathered.
But really though, praying together is a big deal. God wants to hear you talk to him as one a lot. That's important, and you know, it's the same. It's just basically reenacting your marriage. I mean, we stood before God when we got married, and we want to continue that relationship by praying to him together. That's really big.
All right, so second thing, I'll let you take this one.
Well. It's sex. Sex. You know, it's our favorite thing. That's why I say, fellas, I did the Birdman. I did the Birdman hand rubs because, you know, the sex is really big to us, really important to us. So, I mean, hey, that's
pretty self-explanatory.
Yeah, that's it.
I guess I'll expound on it for women. I think a lot of times, if you have sex before you get married, and you get married, there seems to be a disconnect or a change. Even if you haven't had sex before you got married, there's sometimes a disconnect when it comes to women and sex, because I don't know, and I don't mean to get graphic, but I guess it may be like the fact that we are penetrated. Sometimes it can feel kind of invasive sometimes. And so for that reason, sex isn't always a priority for women in marriage, because it feels so uniform sometimes. Even if you don't do the same positions, it feels like, okay,
fellas,
here we go.
Yeah, fellas,
so
I mean, we just got.
That's what I'm saying. You have, like, the men have to really step it up, and
you gotta take your time. You know,
every time
ain't you know Jack
Rabbit. You don't want to be pounded.
Yeah, sometimes you got to bake a cake, put enough flour, some sugar, put it in the oven. Then, come on. So you know, and then sometimes I have to learn that. You know what I'm saying? Because I shoot. Yeah, but so fellas, take your time, be a little more gentle sometimes. I know sometimes you might have a stressful day, you can't wait to get home and break a back.
Yeah.
But you know, it's real important.
You gotta ease your way into that sometimes. And ladies, there's nothing wrong with you if you're just not in the mood sometimes. There's nothing wrong with him if he's not in the mood sometimes. But
believe it or not, we are sometimes not in the mood. Well, I speak for me. It's a lot of men who are like, no, I don't care. Anytime I get it, I get it.
He's not one. Thank God.
Yeah, that's not me. I mean, you know, it's moments, it's times, it's feelings, it's all of that. So I'm a real emotional guy. I'm a musician. I sing. You know, we have emotions, so I really go out for that.
That morning sex is the
My
golden
God.
ticket.
The mercies are new every
The
morning.
mercies are new every morning.
Like the dew
in the morning.
Gently rest upon
My soul.
Come on. God, y'all better read your word. You better read your word.
But anyway, sex is very important, and just pace yourself. Your sex life does not have to look like another couple's sex life. They could get it on 6 days a week. That just may not be what how your setup is, with or without children.
That's right.
And I'll say within that sex, if you do have children, put your spouse before those kids. Put his needs before the kids' needs. He was there first. He helped you make that baby. He is more important than those children, especially if he is being a stand-up father. Please.
That's one of the biggest things, and I don't want to stay on this too long, but that's one of the biggest things that I hear from a lot of my married friends. They feel that when the baby get here and the kids got here, everything changed. They don't get no love. And that's a no-no.
I'll definitely, when we have children.
Yeah, we got to turn it up. We're going to put them kids to bed, put them on the schedule.
We're going to have to whisper in their ear and say, when you hear hallelujahs in there.
When you
I
hear
saw
some
that
clapping,
meme today. When you hear some clapping, just know that we having church. Don't come in there. It's a private church service.
Praying.
Anyway, communication. There is no bigger point in marriage for communication. It's honestly bigger than sex because you have to communicate that part too.
Definitely.
Like,
it's bigger than sex.
if there is something that we're doing sexually that I don't like, I need to communicate with him and tell him I don't like that. I'm not about to keep going on and telling my friends, girl, I don't know what it is. He's just not doing it for me. Okay, well, let's figure it out. Let's listen to some podcasts. Let's figure it out.
It's all mental before physical.
Yeah.
Even whenever you first met your spouse or your significant other, you guys communicated first, and that's the start of it. Period. So communication is huge because that's what keeps you going. I mean, eventually the physical, the sex, all that other stuff is gonna fade away, and all you will have is that relationship mentally and your communication.
Yeah, and I've also been in relationships where, as the woman, I'm more of a communicator, and I haven't been allowed to communicate my feelings. So I do want to say that we have gotten to this point because there was a time where I kind of feel like that with you sometimes.
It's because of her. I didn't want to talk about nothing. Yeah. Look, that happened yesterday.
Yeah. And I don't want to talk about it. And he's like, I don't want to talk about that no more. We already talked about that. But I would feel like there was no conclusion, or I didn't get my point across, or I wasn't heard. And you got to let your man be heard, and you have to listen to him women, you have to listen to him when he's trying to communicate his feelings to you, because there's this little hairline moment when a man is communicating, and if it can get kind of volatile sometimes if you're like both trying to be passionate about your points, and ladies can talk over the man to where he just shuts down. And
that's real. That's real too. It's also men, since we don't talk. Ladies, when you're talking to men, it's like you gotta be real gentle. Got to walk light, because honestly, having your woman tell you something that you know is right, and it's coming from her. A lot of times, a lot of men are, it's hard for them to receive what they're saying,
and vice versa.
And so, and it can go both ways from what she tells me. So, it's just be gentle with each other whenever you're in right, and when you're in wrong. You know what I'm saying? But when you're right, walk light. That's exactly how God will handle the situation.
And one more thing on communication is knowing when to talk.
That's big.
We are still learning. Well, I think we kind of might have that.
We getting at it. I think we're in our bag as far as that goes now. But of course, in front of folk, that's a no-no.
Yeah. You at the dinner table.
Oh no. Right or wrong.
And you want to talk about that you not doing something right, or it's just not the time. Like if y'all are having a discussion and y'all are talking like relationship goals and y'all are having a table and everybody's talking, that's different. That's a different kind of setup.
It's still a thin line in that too.
Yeah, that's true. But to attack your loved one and make them feel attacked, you know, like in a group setting or when they're so angry that they can't hear from you. It's not about your timing. You have to be sensitive to time as far as communication because you might need to let it breathe. Yeah. But it is so important to come back and have that. Yeah. Don't let it go under the rug until it's been a month and we still haven't talked about this. And it's gonna happen again. The same situation is gonna come up again. Yeah. So I think communication is very important.
Please do it. Please do it.
We probably should do an episode just about
We should because we struggled with that for a while. And
we did.
I feel like she was the talker. She loves to bring it up and talk about it and bring it up and talk about it. And then I
talk about everything though.
She does.
Like I run every idea by him. Like, even if it's a simple, I want to change this on my website or I want to carry this different texture of hair. He don't know nothing about that. He'd be like, let's communicate.
And, you know, sometimes I'm like, oh, okay, cool. Yeah, that's dope. You know, sometimes we need that and your significant other needs that. Yeah. So.
Communication. All right, and the last point that we're going to talk about in this episode is honesty. Honesty. Stop lying. About everything. You cannot lie to your spouse.
I'm going to say this, and I'm one of the fellas, you know, one of our biggest things is lying. Yeah. It's a lot of things that we lie about because we don't want to talk about it. So that's why we lie. Yeah. So it'd be like, so what you did today? Oh, nothing. I ain't do nothing. You was here all day long? Yeah, I was here all day long. Yeah. But you know, you went out, you went to the mall, you stopped at a store.
This happens to us all the time.
You went and got a massage.
You are literally explaining your day yesterday.
You went and ate at a restaurant by yourself, all that. Yeah. And you lied. Yeah. You lied.
And honestly, you know, it's not, he does this all the time, but it's not the fact that, well, some women probably are trying to catch you up in something, but just being honest eliminates that. What is that show we watch where they're never honest? Oh, Love and Hip Hop.
Oh, Love and
Kirk is the most, Kirk and Rashida, Kirk is one of the most dishonest men for no reason. Like, he could eliminate so much stuff if he would just be honest. And not to go off into that because some of y'all don't watch that show, but honesty is so important in a relationship because I don't have to say, this happens to Jordan all the time. I'll be washing his clothes. He told me that he just was chilling. He forgot, honestly. He may have forgotten that he went and got a massage. Okay? And then there lies a receipt in his pocket from yesterday. And I'm like, where does receipt come from? I forgot to tell you. I went and got a massage yesterday. Oh, okay, so you didn't feel like being honest.
Sometimes I do forget, but sometimes I'm
You didn't feel like being honest, and so you weren't honest. And then that can, in our relationship, it really, really does, it doesn't do anything to us anymore, but that could really cause friction in your marriage.
A lot of times too, you know, the guys like, you know, well, man, she gonna be mad I went over here without her.
Yeah.
Or I went to Papa Do's.
But just say it.
But without her, I should have called her, asked her, did she want something to go?
I'm
gonna just say, I ain't go nowhere. I'm gonna eat these leftovers before she get back. And that's usually, so that's the
day I take out the trash.
That's the day she take it out, or that's the day she smell it, or I left a fork in something somewhere.
Something. You always gonna get caught. And I'm saying men, but women too. Be honest about your feelings. And I think that we keep going back to, well, I keep going back to sex, but you really have to be honest in what you need. You have to be honest with your expectations or your desires from your mate, because I know what can happen because this happened to me before. You'll start being honest elsewhere, and then that sort of like drives a wedge between you and your mate or you and your spouse, because like when I was going through, you know, stuff in my first marriage, I was being honest with you or other men instead of being honest where I was. But of course there was a situation where I felt like I couldn't communicate the way I wanted to.
Yeah.
But there are times where that will happen, and it's not your opportunity to go and be honest somewhere else. You need to be honest within that situation. You need to say, hey, I have daddy issues. This is why I do that. Or this is why I feel this way. Or I don't want to be here. But no, I just have an attitude when I'm at this particular place. When honestly, I'm not telling you why.
Yeah.
And for you to even understand, we're just both getting upset with each other because we're not being honest.
And being honest with yourself.
Be honest with yourself
is probably number one over all of that. So being real with yourself is, you know, saying, you know what, I do feel like this, or I am wrong, or I do have a problem, or I do get funky with him, or she does get funky with, or we get funky with each other. Like, I shouldn't have said it like that. So being honest with yourself is big too, and then coming together, communicating, and talking about that.
That's true.
Even if it's some cries, some tear conversations, some teary-eyed conversations, or some conversations that are really hard, you have to have them. I chose this lady. You know what I'm saying? She chose me. And you know, if we wanted to work, we have to talk about it.
We have to. And also being honest in your finances as well. That's important too. Yeah. Just honesty in general just will eliminate a whole lot of issues.
It will. So stop lying. Have some good sex. Talk about sex.
Keep God first.
Keep God first.
Let's go in order.
Oh,
keep God first.
Number one.
Yes. Have some great sex.
Number two.
As much as you can get it in.
As much as you can.
Communication. Often and intentionally. And be honest.
That's the 4 things that I think will really help you. So shout out to everybody for tuning into this episode. We are the Armstrongs, and this relationship goes, y'all. So thanks for tuning in again. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for tuning in.